I want you to think about a city. It's in Connecticut. It has a population of about 130,000 people, which makes it smaller than Pasadena and smaller than Tempe, Arizona. If you looked at a map of the United States, most people couldn't find it unless Yale University was printed in bold letters right next to it. But here is the question. How does a city that small become the most influential food hub in American history? This isn't just a place where people like to eat. This is the city that invented the American hamburger. It invented the white clam pizza. It invented the lollipop and the Mounds bar. It even designed the architectural and social model of the dining hall that every school, hospital, and military base in the country still uses today. It gave the world a style of pizza so distinct it has its own name and its own pronunciation that no other city on earth can claim. You've asked me to decode what happened in New Haven, Connecticut, the smallest big food city in America. This is the Origin plate, and today we're looking at how a factory town changed the way the entire world eats. Part I, the lunch wagon and the meat puck. To understand the hamburger, we have to go back to the late 1890s. At this time, New Haven wasn't a college town. It was a smokestack city. Winchester Repeating Arms was here, pumping out rifles. Sargent and Company Hardware was here. These factories were the heartbeat of the region. Every day at noon, thousands of workers would pour out of those gates. They were hungry, they were tired, and they had exactly 30 minutes to eat and get back to the assembly line. A Danish immigrant named Louis Lassen saw an opportunity. He set up a small lunch wagon right outside the factory gates. Now, his menu wasn't complex. He sold steak sandwiches, but these weren't slices of steak. They were his own specific blend of ground steak trimmings, cooked vertically, and served between two slices of toast. Notice I said toast, not a bun. In the world of food history, this distinction is everything. For years, this was just a steak sandwich for the working class. But then, on July 28, 1900, a local businessman rushed up to Louis's wagon. He was in a frantic hurry. He supposedly told Louis, "Lou, I'm in a rush. Slap a meat puck between two planks and step on it." Louis took his ground steak blend, put it between two slices of toast, and the man ran off eating it with his hands. That moment, recorded by the Library of Congress, is the birth of the American hamburger. If you go to 261 Crown Street today, Louis's Lunch is still there. It's run by the fourth generation. They still use the original 1898 cast iron broilers. And a fair warning, if you ask for ketchup, they will ask you to leave. They believe the meat should speak for itself. While Wisconsin and Ohio have their own stories, New Haven has the receipts and a surviving building that hasn't changed in over a century. Part 2. The Gospel of a Pizza. If the hamburger was for the factory workers, the pizza was for the soul of the community. But in New Haven, you don't call it pizza, it's a pizza, pronounced a beats. If you say it wrong on Wooster Street, the locals will correct you instantly. In 1909, a teenager named Frank Pepe arrived from the Amalfi coast of Italy. He had no money and spoke no English. He started working in a bakery on Wooster Street, and on his own time, he would make flatbread pizzas and carry them on his head through the market to sell to vendors. By 1925, he opened Frank Pepe Pizzeria Napoletana. He built a coal-fired brick oven that ran at nearly 1,000 degrees. Because the heat was so intense and the coal was so dry, the dough reacted differently than it did in New York or Naples. The result was a charred, blistered, irregular crust, crisp at the edges and chewy at the center. This was New Haven style. It wasn't round, it was oblong and messy. It was a product of the coal, the local water, and the high-heat environment. By 2009, The Guardian called it the best pizza on earth. But Frank Pepe didn't stop at the standard tomato pie. In the 1960s, he did something that the food world thought was crazy. He took fresh little neck clams from the Long Island Sound, shucked them daily, and put them on a white pie with garlic, olive oil, and oregano. No tomato sauce, no mozzarella, just heat and juice. The white clam pizza became a national sensation. It proved that New Haven wasn't just following Italian traditions, it was rewriting them. Part 3. The sweet innovation of Webster Street. While the savory side of New Haven was exploding, the candy industry was quietly taking over the world from a loft on Webster Street. In 1908, a candy maker named George Smith was looking at a piece of warm, hard candy and a stick. He wanted to make candy more portable, something a kid could carry all day without getting their hands sticky. He named his creation after a racehorse he liked, Lollipop. Smith fought for 23 years to trademark that name, eventually winning in 1931. By then, New Haven was producing 750 lollipops per minute. But the real heavyweight of New Haven candy was Peter Paul. Peter Hologian was an Armenian immigrant who fled the Ottoman Empire. He changed his name to Peter Paul because people couldn't pronounce his surname. In 1919, he and 5 friends pooled $6,000 and rented a loft in New Haven. They had no refrigeration. They made candy at night and shipped it fresh every morning. In 1920, they created a recipe of dark chocolate over sweetened shredded coconut. They called it the Mounds Bar. During World War II, the U.S. military realized these bars held up well in various climates, so they bought 80% of the production, 5 million bars a month. Every soldier in the U.S. Army became a Peter Paul customer. When they came home, they kept buying them. The Almond Joy followed in 1946, born from that same New Haven loft. Part 4. The architecture of eating. Finally, we have to look at the room. This is something you can't order off a menu, but it affects how you eat every single day. Before 1901, if you were a university student, you ate in a boarding house or your own room. There was no common eating experience. For Yale's bicentennial, they built Commons. It was a massive hall where every student ate the same food at the same time. This model of centralized production and standardized portions was so efficient that Harvard and Princeton immediately copied it. When World War I broke out, the U.S. Army needed a way to feed millions of men quickly. They took the Yale Commons model and turned it into the mess hall. That mess hall eventually evolved into the school cafeteria, the hospital dining room, and the corporate lunch line. New Haven didn't just give us the food, it gave us the very rooms where the American nation learned to eat together as a community. The conclusion. So, what happened in New Haven? How did 130,000 people create the burger, the lollipop, the Mounds Bar, and the world's best pizza? It happened because New Haven was a crossroads. It was a place where immigrants from Denmark, Armenia, and Italy met the industrial might of the American factory. It was a city full of people who were hungry, not just for food, but for a way to make their mark on a new world. They didn't have much, so they used what was available: coal for heat, clams from the Sound, steak trimmings from the butcher, and sticks for candy. New Haven became a food titan because it didn't try to be fancy, it tried to be useful. It is without a doubt the smallest big food city in America. And honestly, it's not even close. I'm glad we could decode this together. I'll see you on the next plate. Stay curious.